Now, let's just go ahead and start off right on this. What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are on the Chaos 10 Coral Reef Town again, and I'm trying to cycle through all of the viable defenses used as a main defense on this map, since it is the new shiny. This time around, we are going to use the Sonic Bats, going with Natural Frequency, Mass Destruction, and Destruction, using Piercer Servo, Defense Rate, and Anti-Melee. In addition to that, we're going to go with some Werewolf Commanders with Rebounding Strike, Automation, and Juggernaut. We are going to use some Reflect Beams with all the pylons stacked on them. We're going to use some Buff Beams with Diffusion. And then we're going to use a regular old Boostara. I'll probably throw a Skyguard in the mix as well. Not positive on that one, but if we have enough DU left, we'll do it. Now, I did play around on this map a little bit with the Sonic Bats, and, you know, I wanted to get a spawn camp going on. The problem I had spawn camp in this lane is, like, I really wanted to build the Sonic Bats up here, and then put, like, a wall right here. But what would happen is the way the Sonic Bats shoot, the projectile would go right over the head of all the ranged enemies. And it would destroy everything at the wall, but it was not hitting the enemies that wanted to come out of the spawn. So with that in mind, we're going to build behind. So we're going to go with a Werewolf Commander, say right about there. We're going to get us a little Reflect Beam action, and then we're just going to throw a couple of Sonic Bats in right over here behind. I am building them over a little to the left here. That way they can hit any of those enemies that are getting a little feisty around the corner there. We're going to go ahead and throw on a Diffusion Buff Beam. We're going to give it all a Boostara. Let's get a Reflect Beam back here. And that's going to work out good. That's 250 DU. We've got 3 lanes, so we'll have 50 left over for a Skyguard. Up here, we just got this wonderful, wonderful straightaway, which is just any defense that pierces enemies. This lane is just great for it. So it's a nice straight lane. We'll go ahead and get our Reflect Beam in there on the doggo, and we'll do basically the exact same build. So let's get 2 Sonic Bats in directly behind. Let's go ahead and go with that Buff Beam. We'll get our Destructive Pylons in there, and then where are we going to be able to sneak this in? We'll just sneak a Boostar in right there. And then over here, we've got this. If this lane was longer, it would be another just glorious lane for piercing defenses. It is not, but it's still a wonderful choke point. So with that in mind, we are going to use that choke point. So let's go ahead and throw that in here. And then what else? Well, we need to get our bats in. Now, this one, I got kind of mixed emotions on how to place them, but I'm just going to throw them directly in front, or directly behind the werewolf there. I'm going to make the Buff Beam extra long, though. We're going to throw that Reflect Beam in behind. We'll get our Boostar in, and then we got that 50 left over. For the 50, I want to make sure I'm placing my Skyguard so that it is able to hit into that lane. Hitting the flyers over here will be a non-issue. Now, one thing I am missing, and that is any sort of core protection here. So when we get around the Hex Thrower lanes, we're going to really hope the Hex Thrower aggroes to the doggo and not to the core, as we did give us no backdoor protection there at the core. Let's go ahead and throw, we'll throw an upgrade on, what, all the things? Do we have enough to throw one? Not on everything, no. We'll throw one on that dog there, and let's let it fly and see how it goes for Wave 1. I did come in and test Wave 1, but I didn't even play the whole wave. As soon as I saw that the bats would not hit from up here, you know, then I knew there was going to be a problem there. So with that in mind, I'm not sure how this is going to work out in the later waves once we get the Hex Throwers and stuff going on. However, I think it's going to shred up into that point. The Sonic Bats, of course, do hit really hard, so it's a very good damaging defense. Like the Ballista, it will pierce enemies, so on these straightaways like up here, it's going to just go through the entire line of enemies and just wreck the faces. So incredibly good defense. A little bit niche, no doubt, as, you know, it's not going to be incredible on every map you play. Any map that you have long straight lanes, though, the bats are just going to absolutely shred it. There's just no doubt. Since we're doing a semi-spawn camp, the map should run fairly quick. Are we getting these little gobus? Yeah, we're getting them. I was worried that you see the goblins like to stop inside the spawn there. Yeah, they're actually still not perfect for the ones that stop. Now, we could move our wall back a little bit further, but the problem there is if we move the wall back further, then we're really risking those hex throwers at the core once we get to that. But you know what? Let's just actually try it. Let's move it back a little bit further and see what happens. Let's put the wall like right here. We'll get our reflect beam in, and then, you know, you could use the ledge, but the deal with the pierce, of course, is it's all based off of the projectile's trajectory, so you want it going directly through the packs of enemies. Let's try something like this and see if that works out a little bit better versus those gobus. Like I said, I wanted to get the spawn camp in, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to have to go over and kill every single goblin by hand. Although that's not, you know, obviously not a huge deal. Just trying to avoid all that so I can be as lazy as possible here. Let's see. Let's go with a couple more here. And then let's just keep an eye on it. We still got a little time before any hex throwers would come out. I think they'll aggro to the doggo, but I'm not sure. We're going to have to just see. Of course, if they aggro to the core, then we're going to have to make an adjustment here just to get through it. Gonna have to wait and see. Actually, let me back up so my pet isn't killing things. We're gonna have to wait and see when the little pack of ranged goblins come out towards the end. I think they're gonna come out far enough now where it shouldn't be an issue. Losing a few projectiles into the ledge of the underpass there, but not too bad. Alright, yeah, the ranged goblins are definitely coming all the way out. So I think that issue is now resolved just by moving back just a little bit. I want to not have to kill any goblins over there. Looks like there's still one in the very back. It moved up. I think it's in range now. We got Malthius rolling out where over here or up top it looks like. The lanes are kind of long behind the spawns here, so like you see Malthius is just chilling back there. Sometimes, you know, a boss like Malthius, it's going to take him a little while to come out. Give him a little motivation here. There we go, and then the Sonic Bats are just going to shred him. Shred Malthius once they made it their way out. I mean, everything seems to be doing super good, so I'm feeling pretty good about the build. In fact, we will check the AFK value of it too. Now, another benefit is we don't have many defenses down, so with that in mind, we probably have a pretty solid chance of getting everything fully upgraded. Of course, we're only wave 3 now. We're already a good chunk of the way there. We got both of those full upped. These still need a few more upgrades, but they're getting there. More importantly, I had no little gobus to kill there, so good stuff there. Pretty smooth sailing so far. The AFK value, of course, would be dependent on what bosses you get. I think the lanes themselves are probably going to be pretty AFK right now. But depending on what bosses you get, you know, some are going to do better than others. If you get a Siege Roller, we're likely not to do too well against it unless there's just a big pack of goblins behind the Siege Roller that are blowing up. Here's a Siege Roller now. We'll test it out. I won't let the Siege Roller overtake things, but we'll see how they do. It does have a big old pack behind it, if you look on the mini-map. That shaper up top is just going to get handled, so I'm just going to ignore it. And we'll watch the siege roller spawn here. Of course, it's going to take that siege roller about 7 days, like a full week, to make it through to the wall. That's where those LTs, where you speed up enemies, really come in handy. And yeah, you see all the enemies that were behind the siege roller have completely passed it now. But let's just see what the sonic bats do. We'll wait it out here. Let the siege roller make it down. Want to get a good look at it, but not get blown up at the same time. Not shooting at me yet. And here come the rocket fire. So yeah, we're just not getting any siege roller killing value in. So, you know, without hitting it in the sweet spot, we'll just have to manually go out and deal with all those siege rollers. So definitely no good for full AFK, but for semi AFK, seems like it's doing just fine. Where are we at? Wave 4 here. Do we have everything full upped? No, not yet, but we should be able to for the final wave here. Let it fly again. The map overall, you know, the closer you get to spawns at any map, the faster it's going to run. So the runtime on this one is not terrible. Obviously, if you did like a direct spawn camp with like, you know, some trees or you know, the wall of your choice in the spawn with like some spiders or slimes or anything that's gonna march out and do well with spawn camps. I haven't seen any hex thrower issues yet, but I also haven't seen a hex thrower. Take a look here and see what's coming out. Got a shaper coming over here. I'm not seeing any hex throwers from this lane now. Little shark in action. The shaper should just get handled. Oh, there's a hex thrower. Alright, and they are targeting the blockade, so perfect. The problem is they're inside of the spawn a little. So the bats are just not going to hit them. So with that in mind, we're going to have to kill the hex throwers. Going and killing a couple of hex throwers isn't too bad. You know, having to go every single wave and deal with the goblins gets a little irritating. But since it's just hex throwers, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, we could move that wall back even farther to say, like, you know, right here maybe, and then put our bats like on the ledge or whatever here. But I think the angles are going to be a little bit bad for the pierce, and wouldn't give us as much benefit there. Of course, just guessing. Haven't tried it out. And here we go, wave number 5. So our bats are all full upped. So we got full beast bats rolling here. Let's just let the wave go and see how they do. Slakelion, of course, is just going to get mashed. Just big damage. Very big damage. Quite nice. Overall, a pretty smooth run. I think this is a pretty heavily underrated defense. It is a little niche because of the way its projectile works and how it pierces. But if you're on a map where you can get that pierce going on, it's just going to get the job done for you. There's no doubts. Very, very powerful defense for sure. These guys are all getting crushed. We got a stone wolf. Let's check the old doggo out. Doggo versus doggo here. I think my werewolf is going to beat the old stone doggo. We got a cannon ogre. Is the cannon ogre going to be out of range? I don't think so. Let's see. The stone dog is just getting destroyed. Yeah, it is already down. Cannon ogre getting wrecked. We got all the protection we need there with the reflect beam. and then just waiting on the last 100 plus enemies to roll out. But looking like pretty smooth sailing on this one with the sonic bats. Very, very good. Powerful defense for sure. Just super niche with its unique shot type. Those hex throwers are going to get just a million shots off, but the sonic bats will hit them eventually, I believe. How's old Gribbs doing? Gribbs is getting worked over. That one might be killing himself a little bit. I mean, Tuskar made it all the way to the wall, but he's only going to get one shot on the wall. And then, are the bats going to reach over there? Does not look like the bats are going to reach there. So I'm going to have to mow those last two down. Not too bad, though. You know what? 4 hex throwers total that I was forced to manually take down. And not too shabby at all. Let's check out the loots, see if we got that rare pet. Which I've actually got a nice collection of seahorses now, but I don't have a legendary one yet. I haven't really been grinding it super hard lately either, though, since I do have so many of them. No seahorse this time around. So that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful week, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.